We get the latest on Alabama football, and we do so by going to our guy, Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown Alabama. Of course, you can catch him right there and also on the weekly show that actually comes your way 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on YouTube. In my own words, 6:30 Central. Make it a point. Stephen, how you doing today?
Doing great, Mark. Fantastic. Next week, we kick off week 1 of the college football season. Week 0 is this week, of course. May have a few games tonight. Of course, Saturday, some more games will be played, but everybody excited for week 1, which kicks off next week for Alabama. August 31st inside Bryant-Denny to start the Kalen DeBoer era. They got Western Kentucky coming in.
Well, Stephen, like I told you just a few seconds ago, we caught you at a good time because you just are leaving the Kalen DeBoer press conference. So we want to hear the latest, and we got the latest from you. So what stood out in regards to what he had to say?
Just very excited about putting together the game plan now for Western Kentucky. Fall camp is now over. The Crimson Tide got through this camp with no serious injuries. Some guys with some bumps and some bruises, but nothing to be overly concerned about. So that was good. The guys started their first day of classes yesterday, where school is concerned. They're going to be in classes today as well. But DeBoer excited to put the roster together. The majority of that roster is already pretty much set. There's 10% in terms of special teams things and a couple of position battles that are still being fought through. But 90% of the roster already done. He's excited to get that out there to the media when he can do so. But just so pleased with the physicality that was shown in the second scrimmage, especially from the guys on defense. A lot of hitting out there, a lot of big plays being made out there. So they know that they've got some more work to do, but where they are right now, I mean, Coach DeBoer is very excited for what he's going to be able to put on this field week 1 against Western Kentucky.
Stephen, is there anyone in particular that's had an even more outstanding camp? Any particular standouts?
Well, right now, just from the young players, Ryan Williams, the freshman from Saraland High School in the South Alabama area, this man reclassified to come in at 17 years old. He will not turn 18 until next February. What a camp that young man has had. Smooth, consistent, efficient wide receiver. He will get a lot of reps. I'm talking about acrobatic catches, one-handed catches, can run the whole route tree. The maturity is beyond his years. Really love what Ryan Williams has done the entire fall camp. Him, along with another former 5-star in Caleb Odom, what he's been able to show. Another young guy, Rico Scott, had a very good second scrimmage, had 2 to 3 touchdown catches. Young man from Pennsylvania's put on a show. Guys defensively, Jalen Mbakwe, Xavier Brown, of a 2 5-star freshmen. They're battling for the cornerback spot opposite of Damani Jackson. And Damani Jackson, a transfer from USC, has pretty much locked up one of 2 corner positions. Keon Saab has come in here. He's locked up a free safety spot. He'll play next to Malachi Moore on the back end of that defense, of a defensive line. Just several guys who have stepped up. LT Overton, of a transfer from Texas A&M, has looked good at that bandit role on the defensive line, that field side defensive end. He and Jamarian Latham will get a lot of play there. And on the offensive line, Parker Brassford has come in from Washington. Beautiful job at center. Snapping the ball well, blocking well. He's gone from 275 to 290 pounds. So he's put on the physicality to deal with a lot of these defensive linemen in the Southeastern Conference. Graham Nicholson, who comes over from University of Miami of Ohio, replacing Will Reichert as the field goal kicker. Nicholson, who won the Lou Groza Award last year, has fit in extremely well with this team. Really like what he's done, of a job that Jalen Milroe has done, taking his leadership up to the next level. For the first time in the Saban era, Mark, we saw the team captains named at the end of the year. Kagan DeBoer doing it differently. He named the captains in preseason. So the 4 team captains for Alabama, You've got Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, Malachi Moore, and Deontay Lawson, your 4 team captains for Alabama, being named there in the preseason. So just the guys that have really stood out for this team.
Stephen, you hit on the acquisition of Nicholson at kicker, hit on 27 to 28 last year. And as you mentioned, the Groza Award winner, the first in the history of Miami of Ohio football. Well, Chuck Martin, I don't know if this made its way back to Tuscaloosa, but he was on radio or a podcast, the Miami of Ohio head coach this week. And I have never heard it stated quite this blatantly. He said, Alabama stole our kicker.
I'll say it. The question was brought up to Coach DeBoer. Coach was like, he entered the portal and he wanted to come here and we got him. That's all I can say. He entered the portal, he wanted to come here and we got him. So Kalen DeBoer kept it just that brief when it came down to Graham Nicholson. Now, Coach DeBoer also says he has not dove in deeper to the conversation that was on the podcast that you mentioned there, Mark, but he did say Nicholson entered the portal. He wanted to be here. He conversated with us. We brought him in here.
There you go. Stephen, you mentioned quite a few defensive standouts. Of course, Kane Womack is a guy that's been a head coach and left a pretty successful situation to be the defensive coordinator at Alabama. How would you assess just his style, his approach, what kind of guy he is?
Very Jeremy Pruitt-like, Mark. Pruitt-like in terms of the energy, the passion, the fiery personality. Pruitt-like in terms of he's not going to – he pared down this defense. He pared it down to get everybody to understand it. He simplified it all the way down. These guys are out there having fun flying around the field. And in talking with Deontay Lawson a couple of days ago, Deontay said, look, this defense is made for inside linebackers. And I'm having fun out here flying around and making plays under Coach Womack. And what he's done, I go back to the second scrimmage. Coach Womack talked about it. The intensity went to another level. The attitude from that defense went to another level. And Coach Womack was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to see. Our guys being sound, finishing tackles, finishing plays, but playing with that type of an attitude out there. And Bama's defense is getting back to playing with that attitude. And it's very refreshing to see this here from Coach Womack. He's going to he's going to get reps for several guys. So a lot of young guys will get those opportunities, especially with this 12-team playoff. But I'm really excited here, Mark, about this defense.
Folks, please like the video here at the Voice of College Football. Subscribe to our SEC channel. Of course, get on over to Stephen's show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 Central. In my own words, you can find it right here on YouTube. So, Stephen, Kalen DeBoer obviously has had just tremendous success in his coaching career. This past season, of course, on the offensive side in particular, and getting to a national championship game. We're going to see that offense in action for the first time, as you say, against Western Kentucky. Anticipating what Alabama's offense was, there's no change at quarterback last year, and then taking that offense and looking at what we anticipate this Kalen DeBoer offense to look like. What are you anticipating as being differences?
I think the biggest differences would be a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Saban didn't run a whole lot of those. So a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. You're going to see more screen game. You may see two running backs in the backfield with Milroe at the same time. Didn't see a lot of that under Nick Saban. So just different nuances. You'll see more shifts, more motions, more eye candy stuff pre-snap. You'll see more counter blocks from the offensive lineman, more kick-out blocks, if you will. You'll see more zone type things from the offensive line. Now, they'll still go out there man on man and pin people to the ground, most definitely. But you'll see more of those counter blocks there. But I think the biggest thing is you'll see more running backs and tight ends used in the passing game. More wheel routes, more balls to the running back in the flat, and more opportunities for that tight end position to be very involved. Because that's what Kalen DeBoer prided himself on at every coaching staff is getting that tight end room to be effective. You'll see a lot of that this season.
He is Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama. In my own words, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 Central, right here on YouTube. Stephen, we appreciate the breakdown on Alabama football as we are just a little over a week away. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it as always.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you, man.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.